Being God's steward, from 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 1 to 2. It points out, friends, that we need to be accountable. Not only that, we need to be responsible. Not only that, we also need to be mindful. What do I mean? Being a steward of God demands high accountability in all things. If we read 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 1, it is pointing out the accountability. We are, or you are, accountable of yourself before God. Also check Romans 14, verse 2. You are accountable of your deeds. Also check Galatians 6, verse 7 to 8. There is also an aspect of responsibility from the text. It is a requirement. Check 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 2. We should be responsible to ourselves. Also check 1 Timothy 4, verse 16. The text is also bringing out that we need to be mindful when we are God's steward, bearing in mind and in heart to be faithful. Being faithful in all things, according to Luke chapter 16, verse 10 to 12. Friends, we are God's steward in all things we have now. Be accountable, be responsible, and be mindful. If you also read again Luke chapter 16, verse 1 to 3, it is pointing out that there is stewardship predicament, there is stewardship plan, there is stewardship prudence. What do I mean, friends? If you read the text, you're going to realize that we need to plan. As stewards, we need to plan. As stewards, we must invest. And as steward, we must recognize faithfulness is very important. We must recognize that God is true riches. We must remember how to use our money. Friends, it is important. We know that life consists of both privileges and responsibilities. And we also understand as Adventists, there is no difference. We enjoy the privilege of God's children. However, we possess all certain duties. So as believers, as children of God, we must understand the proper use of our time, the proper use of our talent, the proper use of our treasure. We must understand this to be a successful steward. If you read Matthew chapter 6, verse 19 to 21, it is highlighting that we need to have a correct perspective according to our personal property. We also need to realize that there is temporal in the wealth that we have. Many are times that we are focusing on looking for the temporal wealth. We also need to recognize that we should also have investments. I'm reading from Matthew chapter 16, verse 19 to 31. So friends, we also need to understand the correct position concerning some of the anxieties that we do in our lives. That is Matthew chapter 6, verse 35 to 32. We have been given the commandment that we shouldn't be anxious about anything. We are worrying too much. So as a steward, as being a successful steward, there is no reason to worry. Worry is damaging our health. Worry is damaging our plans, and it also dishonoring God. We need also to understand the correct purpose concerning spiritual priorities according to the text that we are learning from. We must take heed, we must learn, and we also need to use the money that we have wisely. The money that we have been given, we also need to use it for the ministry, to help the needy. So I'm saying, from being a steward, it is an act of balancing privileges and responsibilities. And as a steward, we are being entrusted with health, with wealth and property. So as being a steward, we are charged with responsibility, managing all the resources that we have been entrusted by God in His best interest. So we are managers, not owners. So friends, this is what we understand as stewardship, as Kadonha family. May God bless you. May you remember to stay at His feet always. Amen.